Hello everyone, it's Kay here, and I'm here today to share a couple of projects with you that I've made over the last couple of days. And whilst I was doing it, I just thought how this would be a wonderful project for people who are just starting out making albums. And the reason everything is in front of me like this is because these are a few of the things that you need to make this particular album. It's nothing new. I have to state it is nothing new. There are lots and lots of videos out there doing exactly the same thing, but hopefully I'll bring something new to you that perhaps you haven't yet encountered whilst you've been looking at creations from other people. So to make this album you need a piece of chipboard. It needs to be quite thick. I don't know what thickness this is, but it's probably about a mil, 1.5 to 2 mil in thickness. So it's your standard chipboard, and you need a bit that's approximately 5 by 4, perhaps around that. No, 5 by 2.5. You need to be able to get 2 little tags out of this, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. You need some designer paper, whatever you've got to hand. This is just a 6x6. Clearly you could use whatever you had in your stash. You could use scraps. If you wanted to use book paper, that's perfectly acceptable as well. You'll need your scoreboard and some good adhesive, either wet or I've been using Yoo-Hoo for quite a while now because it dries quickly, it dries clear. As I've said before, the only thing you really do have to be careful of is the fact that if it's on anything that's acrylic or plastic, it will take the surface off it, so it's nice to bear that in mind whilst you're working with it. And then you need some envelopes, because this is an envelope mini, and you need anywhere between 6 and 8, depending on how adventurous you want to be. And the best ones for this particular album are these DL. I got these in the range, there was 100 in the packet, 50 in the packet, and they were silly priced. I can't remember now, but I'm gradually working my way through them, as you can see. So that is essentially what you need. You then take your full envelope and you seal the back. I'm sure you've seen this lots and lots of times before, and you just fold it down like that. Now you don't need anything that size for this particular project, but clearly at the end of the day, if you wanted something that was really elongated, then this would be the ideal. Now what I've done here is gone to one end of the envelope and I've scored at 2.5 inches from the edge to 2.5 inches into the envelope. So if I show you on the long side there, and that then you score and fold over like that. So already you've reduced the size that you're working with immediately. And then I've taken off probably, I'll just check, and again it's entirely up to you, I've taken off a further 1/2 inch because I wanted to have pockets at one end. I've used my crocodile to make 2 holes on the panel that's been scored at either end, and once you've measured out your chipboard and you want it to be just a little bit larger than the envelope, both in length and in width, so it's 2.5 by, let me see, 2.5 by 4¼ roughly speaking. So that's the actual size, the depth of the envelope. And then you go along and, having put all the holes through, you anchor the outer edge of the envelopes like so, but there's nothing to stop you putting your red line tape or whatever you plan to use, as long as you can leave the backing on it, and that then is ready to decorate. And I'll show you two that I've made, and they are poles apart. They are so different, but it's interesting to see just how different something can look by virtue of the things that you choose to decorate these things with. Now, before I go on to showing you, this example would follow through on any sized envelope that you chose to work with. You clearly wouldn't want anything too much smaller, because you do need this side of the envelope, because this is actually your open hinge. It's not like the hidden hinge or the layering hinge system that you would find on a enclosed album. This is very much a different prospect altogether, but that literally is all you need. So using this paper pad, which is Tin Coffee, it's way old, from Kane Company. I've had it in my stash for years and years, and I never wanted to use it because it really is quite delightful, and you've got your patterns and you've got your planes. I mean, it just reminds me of springtime, and I'm a bit late for that as usual. But this is the first album that I put together using those papers. Now you see what I mean about this hinge area, and this is the area that all the envelopes are joined into and sealed. That's what your two holes are about, and all the adhesive, red line tape, whatever you choose to use. You cover your two pieces of chipboard to disguise the fact that that indeed is what it is, and then you go on to decorate your album. Now what I've done is just used another little die cut here, a little bit of ribbon here. There isn't a whole lot of room to decorate, so I've not actually put anything on the inside pages, as you'll see, because once you've put perhaps a photograph on there, then you really don't want to be putting much else on. But it is such a lovely way of doing, and there are lots and lots of areas for photographs. There are only 6 pages here, or 6 envelopes I've used, but the facility to put photographs or memorabilia into are limitless. You've clearly got room in this little album for 24 pictures, and I'll show you what makes up the 24. You've clearly got both sides, not the first, but you've clearly got both sides of each page, and then in each page I've just put a good sized tag that would allow for a bit of journaling. One side is slightly decorated and the other side is fully decorated, but you'd get a good sized photograph, or indeed several smaller photographs in there if that's what you wanted to do. And each of the pockets, so there's another 6 double-sided, and that's another 12 areas to decorate in each little area. Now what I've done to make the little tag pulls, I've just used one of my scalloped edge circle punch, and I've just cut it out in card first, put it on both sides, and then cut out the DSP and just covered those little buttons. And it works really well when you feel it. It's quite sturdy, quite strong, and it will take a good deal of fumbling and pulling and pressure, which is one of the key areas for your album. On the front, as I say, I've just used a die cut, these tiny little roses here with the blue in the centre to pick out the colour of the pansies, and then this lovely little bit of lace trim just to add a little bit extra to it. And I've threaded this ribbon through the 2 eyelet holes, and clearly you've put your eyelet holes on each side of the 2 pieces of chipboard to make sure that it's nicely finished. Threaded it through, and instead of doing the bow in the centre, I've chosen to take it up to the top eyelet and just let the tails of the ribbon just fall down where it wants to go. So, you know, it really is a very lovely project to do. It takes time, but I think it's worth it. And to be able to hand this on to someone and let them put, you know, their pictures and photographs in, I think is just such a nice idea. It's not expensive to put together. The envelopes, as I say, if you buy 50 and you use 6, then you're getting about, I'm going to give away my maths being rubbish now, but you'd get approximately 8 albums. I'm going to say, shh, that's probably not right, but I can't do the maths, it's the wrong time of day. So that's that one, which I'll put out of the way. And then I have my wonderful Happy Mail from Sabrina Orskovic, and I got the book paper bug, which is so easy to get, and I've done exactly the same to make the base of the album. The 6 envelopes, the 2 pieces of the extra thick card to make the spine, but it's come out completely different just by using some of the ideas that Sabrina, or Crafty Sabby, shared. She's gone on and she's made some beautiful pockets using paper, and I thought, well, why can't that work in one of these albums? So it's taken me 2 days to complete, but I think it's worth it. I've used these little metal filigrees just to decorate the spine. I've taken the lace around the spine area over to the back as well, and then anchored it down with glue. You'll see I've distressed and inked all the pages. Now this front page is a double assembly, if you like, and you just work out the base size of your page. I then put another page on the top, cut it down the middle, and then fold it back to get this V shape that you can then use to put tags in either side. I've used a little tiny doily here just to take some of the rawness of the words away. Clearly you want your script to be all going the same way if possible. I've stitched all around with my sewing machine. Another of the little filigree bits down here with a little button, and then I found this cut out word that says family, and I just thought, well, you know, that's a nice sentiment, and it's what we would like to keep our family photographs in anyway if we were to have this kind of thing. I then put lace inside the V to really make that pop, because this is the front page, a marabou feather, and then the little flower on the end, and that is where the sum total of decoration starts and ends, apart from machine stitching on each of the pages. So again, I've left my little pocket area open here so that you can put bits and pieces, and you can see it's quite a sizable pocket. It will hold quite a bit, but it needs to be flat because clearly you don't have the hinge area here to put a mass of things in. Photographs I think you'd get away with. I've used this lace, which is actually quite frilly, but it's not detracting from the overall feel or look of the album. So clearly you can still put photographs in, put tags in. This lives up as a little discreet tuck spot. And again, I've just put the lace down just to break it up a little bit. That's those 2 pages. And then you turn the page again, and here is another pocket area with the little thumb bit out there, a pocket opening here, but you can also slide flat somethings there. If I stuck that down, you know I have. What a silly Billy. But you could just put things in like this, and little flat things in here, and then over to the next page, and I've made some envelope that you can just put a few little bits and pieces into, perhaps a certificate or something of that nature. This is so hot off the press, I'm having to undo some of the sticky bits that I've done. Again, each of the pages has got their pockets, so there is lots and lots of storage. I've made another little page here, and there is a secret little pocket here, and it really is dinky, and that would just be for things that you wouldn't want anybody to know about, because when you look at it from that angle you wouldn't know it's a little pocket. So I quite like that idea. Another plain pocket, and then a tuck spot here. There's also an area here that you could put something into, another envelope, and these do come out so nicely, just making the enveloper. Unfortunately you can't quite get the print to all go in the same way doing an envelope, but by fair or foul means the envelope has been made and added to the collection. And then another envelope on the other side, this time opening to the side with the pocket, another side pocket here that you can put a few little bits and pieces into, and that completes the album. But for someone who is just starting out and just would like to build up their confidence and feel how these things come together, this is a great place to start. I don't think I need to do a tutorial on it because it really is very, very straightforward. But if you would like to see one done, then please leave a message under the video and I will get on to that and do one for you. But considering they are identical on the base, if I put them that way, who would have thought that it was exactly the same album? It just goes to show that you can change things out of all recognition just by changing things up a little bit. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you found it inspirational, and I hope you feel you'd like to have a go. And if you do, don't forget to put it out there and let us all see, because I know that whoever runs and tries this will come up with another variation of how this can all go together. I'd like to thank Sabi once again for her inspiration. She is just pulling it out of the ballpark at the moment and doing some really, really lovely stuff. So again, do feel it would be lovely if you could just go along and say hello and get some ideas firsthand, because she does some lovely pockets and that kind of thing for albums. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Take care, everybody. Bye bye for now, and happy crafting.